Well, it's great to be here with everybody. It feels like a long time since our first game because it has. And certainly excited about the opportunity this week to play in front of our fans again. And of course, it's a four-game homestand for us. We've got a lot of things that we've been working at. Taking the opportunity this week to really take a look at a number of things from this young season already and just try to build some consistency with some of the really good play that we've had in moments and to try to get those things to happen more frequently. And then, of course, the things that we want to be able to reduce and minimize to do a better and more consistent job with that. But again, it's good to see everybody. It means we've got something good coming up here, and we're excited about this home game this Saturday for the Mayor's Cup.
How big a deal is the Mayor's Cup, and how much are people putting in? How big a deal is it?
Well, I talked to our team about leading into our Oklahoma State game, how important I believe in-state games are. I said it before. I grew up in a state that had 4 Division I teams. I think it's a really big deal to be a Division I basketball player in the state of Oklahoma. Certainly, notwithstanding to be a University of Tulsa basketball player with the type of tradition that we have here. But this is a tradition-rich game. This is a game that I remember when I was here the first time around. It's a game with a lot of history. Both programs have had great successes. And anytime you get a chance to play in state, your fan base can travel. And it's a game that people can recognize, not only the new fans, but older fans as well.
I know in the past, for sure, players from both schools play maybe quite a bit in the summer. Do you have any sense for how much you guys have, how familiar they are with the guys at ORU?
I know Anthony Pritchard knows everybody that seems to have ever bounced a basketball in this city. Him and I were talking about a young high school player earlier today. I do think there is definitely an awareness. I know this past summer there wasn't a lot of crossover and pickup basketball in the summertime. But even with that said, I know just globally in basketball now, players run across each other in tournaments everywhere, it seems. All over the country. So I know our players know each other. They're aware of each other. And, of course, the game was played last year as well.
Last couple of years, I mean, they've played some really good ball, and a lot of the guys from those teams are still there. Just kind of your assessment of ORU.
Coach Mills does a great job. I've known Paul for a long time, and he's got a brand of basketball that is very difficult to guard. They shoot a ton of threes. They're one of the leaders in the country in the number of attempts that they take. They've got all 5 guys at any one time that can shoot the three, and you've got to have a solution for covering that as best as you can, and then also have the type of resolve in knowing that they may get hot. We've got to do everything we can to move on to that next play and look to make it difficult. But they've had a really good stretch of teams here. They've got a really good team again this year. They're picked towards the top of the Summit League, and it's going to be a great challenge and opportunity for us here on Saturday.
You guys, you're 6 games in now. How would you evaluate your team and how it's going so far?
We're absolutely a work in progress, and on one side, there's certainly always great optimism and enthusiasm towards the things that we can do well. And we've had moments, Nathan, where we've been very, very good in certain stretches. And then there's also sides that there's things that we absolutely don't want to see again. And we've got to be able to keep improving on that. This is all about education. This is all about building consistency. This is all about becoming the best version of us. Forget about trying to compare against this and that. No, it's what can we do best and what can we do most often. And we've had great moments of that, and we're just trying to build consistency.
Does it make the Mayor's Cup even more important? You guys are on a 3-game skid here, maybe to get a victory, put it into that losing skid and try to start something here.
Yeah, we talk about what is it that we can control. And we knew going into November that there was going to be a tough slate for us. And for our staff, we talked an awful lot about, we'll find out so much more about our team once we start playing games. So knowing that we've got 4 straight home games here, this is important. This is an important stretch for us. We don't want to look past this first game, of course, but we want to talk about, hey, this is a chance for us to get better this week in practice. We've got a great team coming in here in ORU. Of course, a very meaningful game to us and our fan base. And let's just focus on one game at a time, really clearly, one practice at a time, then even more so one possession at a time. So that's where our focus has been.
Mike Gundy made an interesting comment during Bedlam Week that rivalries don't mean as much anymore to the kids because they all know each other, and then the portal is kind of I don't know if it's ruined rivalries, but so many kids are coming in and only playing 1 year. They're not really entrenched in the rivalry as long. And obviously, this is your first year here. I know you've been here before. Do you feel like rivalry games such as this are not as, I don't know if the word is rabid, as they may have been in the past because of the portal, because of all the shifting parts? And how much education do you have to do with your guys on rivalry games such as this?
I think there's definitely some truth to what you said, what Coach Gundy said. I mean, there's a lot of a little bit of a revolving door, and there's some maybe players aren't as rooted in some ways. We absolutely educate our guys on history. We are the 112th men's basketball team here at the University of Tulsa, and we take great pride in that there will never be a 112th team again, but there's going to be another 112 teams in front of us. So we have a chance to cement the legacy for this season and how we want to be this year and moving forward. But I think it is important, and we do talk about that there are certain traditions that we can ground ourselves in. We know very well that we lost this game last year, and we want to be able to grab that Mayor's Cup. I think it's an awesome thing in college basketball. You see some rivalries across sports where there is an axe or a mug or a bowl or all those types of things. We got a chance to be part of that. And so I do think that this is a cool thing, and we describe that and talk about that with our team. And if it's not important to them, we want to make sure that it becomes important to them.
You have memories from the years you were here or whatever when you were coaching against ORU when you were here? I mean, do you have anything that sticks out to you?
Well, I know it was a great game. We won a very close game here at home that year I was here. And in looking throughout history, it's one of those games that regardless of how a team has been, it seems that it's been very competitive. And it should be. Two teams, two Division I teams in the same city, not everybody can claim that. And we got an opportunity here to play another great team on our schedule, but it happens to be a team from our city. And there's, without question, there's bragging rights and everything else you want to put on that. So it's important, no doubt.
What are some of the items you've been working on since the OSU game?
First thing is we've got to be much better in transition defense. And there's a number of things that go into that. And the two things we've identified as a part of it is we've got to take care of the basketball better. We turned it over 19 times. And in any team you play, certainly against ORU, with the explosive as they are offensively, we've got to be able to take care of the basketball. And there's a number of different things because people defend differently, whether it's pressure, zone, full court pressure, whatever it might be. We've got to be better at handling it. And then also we've got to be better in our position-based in what we're doing offensively to get back on defense, and then how we guard the basketball. And we've talked a lot about guarding the ball. We're going to guard some very talented individual players this weekend. We've got to guard the ball better. We've got to be able to rebound it better. So transition defense, John, and then rebounding the basketball. And in that transition is taking care of the basketball. So those are the things we've been talking about a lot. Go again, guys.
So some of the changes that have been made to the game day atmosphere and the 3D court and all that sort of thing. Obviously, there was a good crowd out first, but there were more to come. Just what would you say about kind of, I know you got a game to coach and everything else, but just some of the game day enhancements.
Well, this is part of coaching. You know, it's part of program development. It's game day development. We are, and I say we, our basketball program is so appreciative of Brad Carson, our president, and Rick Dixon. Everybody in our athletic department is pulling in the same direction to provide an experience that's entertaining, that's fun, that's energetic. That's what we want to be about. Of course, we're working hard every day to build the product that we put out on the floor, to also be exciting but very competitive. The overall goal from my standpoint is not only to build something that people are entertained by, people that feel energy when they come into the building, feel a sense of their younger days as a college student or whatever that motivation is, but we want to grow over time, and I know it doesn't happen overnight, a feeling of responsibility that when people are at the dinner table, at home after work, got their kids back from school, and they feel a responsibility to say, Coach Conkle and the team need me tonight, and I need to be there. And I need to be there to help them. Because in indoor sport like basketball, they absolutely have that type of impact of when we're down 2 and need a stop. You feel that from the fans. When we got a chance to extend this league and kind of step on it, they have that chance to help us. So that's the long-term progression that we're looking to build. And so many things is to get people in the door where they feel like, wow, this is fun, this is different, this is new. And our administration's been huge in that. Now we just want to continue over time to build a connection with our community where they feel responsible to help us.
Any thoughts at all on that 3D court? And just what you thought the first time you saw it, right?
Yeah.
Kind of
Well, I can tell you this. I've coached in a number of venues. I was in the ACC for 4 years. I've not seen that anywhere. I don't pay attention to a lot going into the game, but that you can't miss because it is so unique. I know it's not even in every NBA venue. So again, for our administration to say, hey, let's do something unique for our fans, that'll tell you right there the amount of investment that we want to put in and create something special for our people.
I got yelled at by PA guy Jared Gallagher for standing on the 3D court during pregame announcements. So now I know, look out for the 3D court. So it's good to know.
Well, you weren't in the run through with us. So we actually had our team come out and see it. I didn't want them to be surprised the day of and be like completely into what is this? So we practiced that as well, but I guess you didn't get the memo, TJ. Yeah.
I know it's a month away. The conference home opener is Houston, or the conference opener is Houston, whatever. They're number 1 in the country right now. So I know we'll talk before then, I'm sure. But what does it say about the league to have a number 1 team in the country and just what Coach Sampson's been doing there in Houston?
It's a great league. I mean, and they're playing great. And I've seen them because they've played Oral Roberts. And you talk about a gritty group, and that's certainly motivation and something that we want to become down the road. But you look throughout our league, there's been some great wins. I know it's a big part of what attracted me to come to TU was the league that we're in. And you're seeing some great performances. But to have the number 1 team in the country right now in our league is a special thing. And it's something that, of course, we aspire to do as well.
Coach, you talked about guarding better, doing a better job defensively, but you probably couldn't have guarded any better than the first 5-6 minutes against Oklahoma State. It was like 6-0. So, this maybe speaks to consistency, but how do you make that 6 or that 5, 40?
So it's a great question, Bruce. And that's absolutely that consistently we're talking about. In the 2 games that we've won, we've held our opponents under 1 point per possession. And that's really our marker. We hold a team under 1. We feel like we've got a really, really good shot. In the other 4 games, we have not. And so we talk about also when we stop people, our offensive efficiency is better. Now, in those first 14 possessions against Oklahoma State, we outscored them, but we did not play great offensive basketball. And we want to be able to hang our hat on the defensive end to give ourselves a chance. And we did that. I feel like we felt a great level of frustration because we did turn the basketball over. We weren't playing great, and we got focused on other things other than, hey, how can we keep doing this? Because if we do that, all of a sudden good offense is going to come together. Just absolutely believe that. So again, it's just grounding our guys and getting them focused on what's most important and how we can then repeat that over and over and over again. But you're right, we had a really good stretch early, and we've got to be able to continue that.